Hello guys, John with you, and this is the first update on the StuG 4 from ITALERI. It's an old one, an old classic kit, as I said within the unboxing. That's if you've watched the unboxing. If you've also watched the unboxing, you will see, or have seen, should I say, beg your pardon, that on the sprues, there's no markings on any of the sprues as in numbers, so you got to refer to the sprue map. And I thought it would be easy enough because I said actually you can go by what the part is. But unfortunately, for some weird reason, it seems to give with some of the parts there seems to be sort of multiple versions of it. And when you look at the, I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. You can, yeah, just about there. You can see that some of them are crossed out. Okay, see there with the drive sprockets here, right? They're crossed out, so you don't use those ones. A couple of other little bits and pieces. There's a back plate there, and there are some other items down along the thing that are not used. So you have to kind of refer over and back. Also, it gives on the on the build a lot of this melting stuff with a screwdriver, getting it to basically what it does is it's kind of making everything workable, as in the wheels to spin and all that kind of thing. I suppose it was all before the days of polycaps that this thing was done. And with the wheels, you put on the bottom bit, you melt sort of this extra little bit that's there. See it? You melt that down over the thing then, and then you can add in your second wheel and glue that to it. Now I'm not going to go down that line. I'm not really too pushed on whether the wheels can go round or not. But one thing I do like about it, right, is these suspension parts are movable. And it's a nice little idea. I've never kind of seen it before. Some are a little bit stiffer than others, but it is movable. It sort of fits on with an end cap kind of thing, so this thing kind of pivots here. Okay, the suspension part piece, they're kind of, there's a little bit of pivoting, so you got some bit of movement in the suspension, which is a nice little idea. I must admit, it is quite nice rather than having it say rigid. Also, when it comes to the instructions, they are pretty vague. And there's a lot of, as you can see, there's a lot in each piece. Like this piece here, I wasn't sure whether it would fit it on top or it kind of slotted in. Obviously, it slotted in because, I mean, otherwise it would have been, when I was trying to fit it on top, it kept kind of not fitting properly, and just pulled the sides apart just slightly, and it sort of sat in. There was stops on the inside here. See in there, you can see that little bit of there's the angle there. You can see that the vertical piece there. Just there, here. Trying to get that around there. You can see that this vertical piece here, that stops and that kind of fits to the top of that. No real fit issues, none whatsoever. It's just sort of the vagueness of how parts fitted together, because it doesn't really, gives very much indication as how they're fitted. It just says that goes there, if you know what I mean. I've been looking down through various bits and pieces, but like I said, the suspension works anyway. Okay, with the wheels, what I did was I'm after gluing them all together. Okay, popping the wheels together now. I still have to clean them off. Okay, and we still have a bit of sprue gate sort of pieces there. You can see they're just there. There's a little bit of sprue gates, and I find it's much easier to clean them off once the wheels are together. Okay, get your thing of that. And you're doing sort of two at a time. It's much easier to go that way rather than doing one wheel at a time. You get sort of two done at a time. Okay, so the wheels anyway, for a finish, what I'll do is I'll literally, instead of having them fitted that they can be spinny, I'm just going to glue them in place. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of pop a bit of glue in there, you know, a bit of the slow acting glue, and fit them in place that way. Like I say, because I'm not really too pushed with making it movable. Also with the drive sprockets, same idea again. To give a little thing for the inside that you pop it in, and you close that in and then heat seal it on. But I want that to be able to sort of get in there, get all that painted, paint them separately, and you know, pop them in place and glue them in place. And again, use the slower acting glue for a finish when I'm fitting them. Okay, the Rivel Contacta Professional. Once all that's painted and everything else, I can put a bit of Rivel on that, pop them into place, fit my track. So if they need to be moved to get the track to kind of fit in with the grooves, the holes on the track, if you know what I mean. Here we go. You know, to get that to fit around there, so it fits into the holes on the track. The holes provided. By having that a little bit movable, that will just make that a little bit easier. As I'm going to be saying then on the drive sprocket. So that's as far as I've gotten on it, and I didn't want to go any further because I wanted to show that you know, it's a technique I've never really kind of seen before when it comes to kits. Usually it's a case of either polycaps or you're gluing them on. I've never seen them that you have to kind of sort of glue half them and all that, or sort of heat sink them on. I've never seen that before, but what the hell anyway, this works just as easy. Okay, so I'm on now. I got all the wheels done bar the idler wheel at the back. This here, I've got this whole section done. I've got all my wheels ready to go. Just have to give them a sanding. Not really worry about them too much because I'm going to leave them off until painting, and then I can get them all painted up separately. It's easier to sort of paint them up separately. You can kind of get the black done on them much easier than trying to sort of have them all in place and then trying to, you know, painting around, and it's messier. It's just easier to paint them separately, I find. Put them onto a bit of a toothpick. Okay, now pop that in. The toothpick then is a bit pointy at one end with this, so just pop a toothpick in half, pop that in there, maybe a little bit of white glue onto that just to give it that little bit of extra thing like that, and they're much easier than to paint like that. You know, you stick them onto your pegs or sticks or whatever you want to use, but it's just easier, much easier to do it that way and paint them separately. Anyway, that's that bit out of the way, so we'll be moving on, and we'll see what we get done for the next update. Hopefully, right, we've got the tow rope toe chain that got to go on the back. I don't know whether I'm going to actually use that one or not yet. I'm just going to have another close look at it. I didn't really give it a really fine look to see what kind of what way it's going to be. If it looks too shitty, basically I'll replace it or not use it at all, if you know what I mean. Make a bit of tow rope and have it sort of dangling over, or no tow rope at all. By it not being there, you wouldn't even notice it. Also, the exhaust has to be done. Then we're on to the mantlet, the Sauerkopf mantlet. It's on those, sort of the piggy mantlet, and the two-piece gun barrel. Lots of cleaning up to be done on it. I don't mind the two-piece barrels actually. Some people hate them. They really hate them with a vengeance. But I find if you use the Rivel Contacta as opposed to the Tamiya Extra Tin to glue them together, and use a bit of pressure when you're putting them together and keep that there, what it does is as it melts, it kind of pushes out a little bit of extra, and that can be sanded flat. Whereas if you use the Tamiya Extra Tin, it kind of melts it away and it doesn't you're going to end up with a little line that you're going to have to kind of either fill or sand down a bit more, whichever the case may be. But again, the Rebel contactor kind of just, it makes it kind of squish out, you know, like with a sandwich. If you get a sandwich, say good old banana sandwich, and squeeze it, banana comes out the edges. When the banana hardens, then you can sort of sand it off, and that's basically what I'm going to do with the barrel. Moving on then from that, we're fitting the barrel on the inside. We're also fitting the vents, a couple of other little fiddly bits and pieces. Then on it, like when you come to a sort of a scene like that, right? There's loads and loads of little pieces to go on there, all in one reasonably okay picture. But again, like I said, it just shows that fits there. I find that the more modern kits tend to show you in that little bit more detail. So when it comes to, say, so far, would I recommend this kit for a beginner? That it's definitely a no. It's definitely a no for a beginner. But I can see it turning out to be quite a nice kit for a finish, as in the detail is quite nice in it. It is very, very nice, and it's nicely raised. The lines here for the engine inspection hatches and all that, they're deep enough, so you know, when that's all painted and things, wash will go in there, all that kind of thing. So you know, so far so good. I'm happy enough with how it's going so far. Will it continue that way? Fingers crossed, I hope so. And you know, there's only one way to find out, and that's just to sort of build it and find out about it. Now, what damage I'm going to do to it, I haven't fully decided yet. I'm going to do a couple of, you know, minor shell impacts where it, you know, shells would have bounced off or caused a bit of structural damage to it. Oh, excuse me, full of wind. I had a nice stew for dinner, and I kind of must have inhaled a lot of air along with it. So I'm full of wind and belching all evening. So if I do it again, I do apologise. I apologise for my disgustingness. But as well then with the Scherzen plates, the side plates along the side, I'm going to have one or two of them. You know, I'm not going to fit one or two of them, and one or two of the other ones. Then I'm going to kind of bend it up a bit, and I might even put a kind of a shell hole through one with an impact on the inside, on the vehicle itself. Say one here, whereas you've got a kind of, it went through the Scherzen plate. The Scherzen plate did its what it was meant to do, as in take most of the impact out of it. So by the time then it hits the that flat surface there, most of the kinetic energy has gone out of the round, and it just kind of made a dint, rather than say going through that and killing the freaking crew inside. So little ideas, you know, you come up with them as we go, and we'll see how things go. I usually do my damage after I've built everything, because I don't kind of plan to do damage, if you know what I mean. I let the model kind of tell me what it wants to be done. Yes, the model whisperer. You can call me that from now on, and if you do, I'll kill you. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this quick update on the ITALERI Sturmgeschütz 4, or StuG 4, STKFZ 163, and I will be back to you as soon as I can with the next update. So, don't forget you can subscribe to the channel, and go back through my my previous videos. There's some great builds there, and when I say great builds, I'm not saying that I built them great, but there's some great models within that I have attempted to do a good job on. Some people say I did a good job on, some of them I say I did a good job on, but that's up for you to decide. But you get to see the kits anyway, okay, and you can kind of decide whether you want to buy the kit or not. And that's what I watch these videos for, well, other people's videos. You know, when I'm contemplating on buying a model, a kit, I say to myself, I might buy that. look up YouTube, see what other people have built, and how it goes together and things like that. And I've often, sort of once or twice, believe it or not, actually been put off, been almost to the stage where I'm going to buy that. I'll definitely buy that kit. Gone in looking at one or two people building the kit, and all they've done is saying, they've had major problems with it, and then that made up my mind. Why should I sort of subject myself to that? I'll take their advice. So anyway, lads, this is an old kit. Your chances of actually picking it up are pretty slim. You get the newer version of it with a couple of changed parts. It's a case of, why did they change parts? Obviously there's usually when you see it in scale mates, the parts have been changed. Either they've been changed to make them correct, as in the original piece was not rivet counter perfect, and the new part then is a little bit closer to the real thing, or it's a case of this piece didn't fit properly, and we've changed it so it does. So we'll see how it builds up. We'll see how it goes. A couple of people have already said to me that they've built this kit and it's quite nice, so I'm looking forward to getting it all finished off anyway. So like I said, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and if you have, thank you very, very, very much. I do appreciate it. And don't forget, if you have subscribed, and when you do subscribe, to hit the bell, and by hitting the bell you'll be notified as soon as I upload another video. So until then, lads, all I can say is thank you for watching this. Stay tuned to the channel for further updates on the ITALERI StuG 4, and I'll catch you on the next one. So in the meantime, go out and buy yourself a kit, build it and enjoy it. John signing off. See you soon.